G'day guys, I've got a little secret to share with you. Outback Steakhouse doesn't actually serve Australian food. I know, it's crazy, right? But stick around, I'm going to spill the beans and give you some more details on how they can step up their game and become a true blue, dinky-die Aussie restaurant with some great tucker as well.
Do you come from a land down under? Oh, where women glow and men plunder. Oh, can you hear the thunder? Oh, you better run, you better take cover. Oh.
Outback Steakhouse opened its doors in Tampa, Florida back in 1988. They pride themselves on being an Australian-themed steakhouse and a go-to place for top-notch steaks. The casual vibe that they offer is said to mimic the laid-back atmosphere of the Australian Outback. Now, I recently treated my daughters to lunch at Outback Steakhouse here in Hermitage, which is right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I've been a regular there ever since I moved to this area 6 years ago. I'll share some of that visit with you shortly. Outback's slogan is no boundaries, only perfection. And they emphasize that they will do whatever it takes to ensure customer satisfaction. The company has expanded to have more than 1,000 locations in 23 different countries, and now they even have restaurants in Australia. Bloomin' Brands, which is the parent company, is publicly traded on the Nasdaq and brings in an impressive annual revenue of over $4.5 billion US. They have a workforce of approximately 93,000 employees. When you step inside an Outback place, you'll be welcomed by walls painted in burnt orange and timber, giving off that Outback vibe. You'll also see Australian-themed pictures on the walls. There's a wooden Aussie flag, some wallabies, and a couple of prints of the Outback Desert as well. The menu once again emphasises the no rules, just right slogan, and it includes a kids menu that doubles as a colouring page, complete with coloured crayons. One of the highlights for me is actually the kids menu, because it showcases unique Aussie animals like the lyrebird, kookaburra and the platypus, and it even includes fun facts for the kids to discover. So I've tried a number of Outback restaurants, and I've got to say the service is pretty much the same each time. It's decent, it's nothing extraordinary, but I wouldn't say it's bad either. The menu has a bunch of items that are either cheeky nods to Australia or, to be honest, are just plain dumb. So let's start with the appetizers. Now, it's important to remember that in the US, entrees are called appetizers, and the main course is called an entree. I know, it confused me the first few trips I came here as well. The starters, or Aussie-tizers, as they like to say, I doubt you'd find any of these dishes on a menu down under. It is extremely American. And I guess we have Paul Hogan to thank for this, but America...
Come on, come and say g'day. I'll slip an extra shrimp on the barbie for you.
We call them prawns, not shrimp. We also call them chips, not fries. And this is something that used to get me when I first came here. You'd order a side of chips and end up with a packet of chips, not the hot chips that I was expecting. I mean, who eats a packet of chips with their lunch? Apparently, that's what you do here. Sydney shrooms. To be honest, it sounds more like something that you would buy off a guy in a back alley in King's Cross, but it's the kookaburra wings that really bug me. This is a kookaburra. If you decided to chow down on one of these guys, I reckon there wouldn't be a lot of meat on them. Plus, you'd probably end up in trouble with the law. It's just not something that we consider eating. Besides, they're pretty handy at catching snakes, so we're better off just to let them be. Then there's the all-American mac and cheese. Now, my kids love it living here, but I would doubt that I've ever seen it on a menu in Australia anywhere. The other on the starter side is Tasmanian chili. Spicy, all steak and no beans. I know America has this love of chili, but again, it's not really something that we do. And what does Tassie have to do with chili? Now, I usually don't mind their steaks, but as you can see from this pic, this visit had more fat than meat. I did show the server who replied with a, "Oh." And that was also the same server who left the table next to us dirty and uncleared the whole time that we were there. So I guess, oh, to that one as well. I did have to laugh when I saw Alice Springs chicken on the menu, because if they could only see what's going on in Alice Springs right now, maybe chicken would be the least of their worries. There really isn't anything Australian on the main course side either. I was in the mood for an Aussie staple of steak, chips and eggs, and I was told that they don't have any eggs. And it turns out that everything is shipped in pre-made, and they have very few ingredients to make anything that's not on the menu. But that's also where I'd point out again, no rules, just right. They also like to throw the term bloomin' around a lot. There's bloomin' onion, there's bloomin' shrimp, bloomin' chicken. Now, I know the word bloomin' as a more polite way of saying bloody. So you might say to someone you're a bloomin' galah rather than the alternative. Honestly, it's not a word that you really hear that much. So what could Outback Steakhouse do to make it more authentic, more Australian? For one thing, guys, take Foster's off the beer menu. We don't drink it. I'm not even sure that you can buy it in Australia anymore, and after all, it's now made in Texas. It is no longer Australian for beer. The local beer that I had was flat and pretty crappy as well. You can see the dirty glass and the lack of head on it here. This is very typical of beers served in restaurants in America, and you can check out my beer episode here for more on that as well. Add some Aussie wines to the menu, even if you just add some yellowtail, but there's so many Aussie wines that are available here in stores, and it truly is a missed opportunity. Now, as for the menu, I'd be going with more of an Aussie pub style menu. It's simple, good sized servings, and great tasting. Things like a chicken parmigiana on the menu. You know, that's a chicken schnitzel with ham and cheese, tomato sauce served with fries, steak, chips, egg and salad. Nothing pretentious, just a typical pub meal. Fish and chips, I mean, this one needs to be on the menu for sure. Simple things like potato wedges, throw in some sweet chili sauce and sour cream as well. A roast of the day, typical of what you'd find in an Aussie RSL or bowling club. Throw in some meat pies and sausage rolls. I don't understand why these aren't huge in the US. Meat and pastry, it's the staple of an Aussie diet, but it is so hard to find here. And put an Aussie burger on the menu. Meat, pineapple, beetroot, egg, lettuce, cheese, onion, maybe add some bacon, and lamb. There is no lamb on the menu, but it has long been a staple of the Aussie diet. Lamb chops or a lamb roast. You can even go a little exotic with some kangaroo, emu, or crocodile on the menu. And lastly, desserts. They do have one that uses Tim Tams, but you are missing the big one. Stick a pavlova on the menu and watch your sales grow. You could add lamingtons on there as well. Outback, the gimmicks could definitely use some more authentic Aussie charm. So tell me, what dishes would you like to see added onto the menu? Share your thoughts below and maybe we can make a difference and get Outback to improve and become an authentic Australian themed restaurant chain.